Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Boys, castle time. My favorite time. I will go to England again, and I will go to castles, and I will stay there as long as I am allowed, and just marvel at it. Look at the little pegs that they use to put the scaffolding in. God, castles are just so great. I love them. They embody so much about the time period they are in, about protection, and about how they build things, what their engineering skills were like, how they lived, how they slept. Everything about them is just awesome. I love castles. Let's go. Was Arundel Castle the most formidable fortress in England? If you are not ready to learn, please get out. You're in the wrong class. Home ec is down the hall. I know you're looking for that. 2 doors down, into your left. Let's go.
Done a lot of climbing and I'm not even at the keep yet. The keep, the highest, strongest point of this castle, built on top of the Norman Moat. These medieval castles weren't built for people of my height, that's for sure.
That's fine.
It's always so exciting up a spiral staircase, and this is a great view. Look at this. The keep, the stone keep, the beating heart of the castle. This was the absolute strong point. Built out of stone about 1140. There was a keep here, but it was made out of wood in William the Conqueror's time, the early Norman conquest. And this is on the highest point of ground you can see for miles around here. This ultimately is where the defenders would come and make their final stand when they were besieged.
See, over here to your left, would you knock down? I would knock down those trees because you can't really see. So I agree. You can see a lot over there, but obviously it wasn't exactly like it was that during that time. Maybe they had watchtowers over there. Maybe there were watchtowers, and so they didn't really need to see. I don't know the orientation of the castle. I don't know what is west, south, and north, south, northeast. And so I don't really know exactly what would need to be more defended. Beautiful castle.
Ultimately is where the defenders would come and make their final stand when they were besieged. And the castle was besieged 3 times in its long history. The keep had good, strong walls.
You guys can hear this, right?
One heavily guarded entrance.
Yeah.
The entrance is right under my feet now. And these were called Brettis doors. So they were a place where you'd, as people were trying to get into the castle, get into this final ring of defense, you'd be able to hurl down projectiles. You'd throw down all sorts of stuff. You'd throw down human mess. You'd throw down sticks, stones, spears, javelins.
You throw down your own poop. That's nice.
But also you'd throw down boiling water, not oil. You didn't waste oil. It was too valuable. It's very useful. Boiling water did the job just as well, I think.
Yeah, but boiling oil looks cooler on film.
About it. Terrible, inflicting terrible damage on the people down below. The attackers trying to get in. But come around here, let's keep having a look at this round keep. Perfectly round keep, quite unusual. One of the things that makes Arundel...
If you think about it, if you're trying to besiege the castle and you just feel a little boiling water, a lot of boiling water, I'm sure, and that would break the formation and allow arrows to get through. I'm too excited.
Particularly famous.
What do you say?
One of the things that makes Arundel Castle particularly famous. So you get the sea along all that way. You control all this countryside. You can see the sea down there, and then up there you can see north into the South Downs. And I say there are Norman castles that way as well. So you've got the whole country on an interconnecting grid of castles. But come over here. This is the important point. Everyone always asks you, where did people go to the toilet in the Middle Ages? Well, the answer is right here.
And it just drops right down
here
onto like a pile of hay, I'm guessing.
The garderobe. It was the toilet. If you come and have a look right in there, you'll see today there's some mesh and some bars across it. You don't fall down, but the human, the wees and the poos all went down there where they lay. Particularly in the summer, they lay in a big stinky pile at the bottom, which was big, smelly, and attracted lots of flies as well. But let's keep going around the edge of this.
How many people died from falling down the poop chute?
There's a wonderful well down there. Burrowed 45 metres through the moat on which this castle sits. And you can see why. This is basically what you have to build when your neighbours absolutely hate you.
I'll read that. Yeah, good point.
What you have to build when your
There's
neighbours
a black man.
absolutely hate you. The Norman conquerors came here, and with only a few thousand people, several thousand people, they managed to maintain control over
So the more fortified a castle was, the more people hated them. Okay.
country of a few thousand people, several thousand people. They managed to maintain control over a country of a couple of million people. And they did that by using force multipliers, by using stone and cement to erect these virtually impenetrable castles. So relatively small numbers of knights could gather in these castles, maintain their food, maintain their strength, and then sally forth into the countryside to nip any rebellion in the bud. It was often said in the post-conquest period that the English would often control the countryside. They could swarm around, they could cause trouble, but the Normans controlled the castles.
Okay, question here. So a big part of the castle that I would have in my mind, and maybe it's too difficult to do and you just have to forget about it, but is you can make the most fortified castle possible, but if it can be surrounded and cut off, then eventually, if your attackers have supplies, you will starve and have to surrender. What about, I don't know how good their digging ability was, but how common was it that they would try to dig like tunnel escape routes? I know that would mean if it was discovered a weakness point and an entry into the castle itself, but I just wonder, maybe it wasn't worth it to have a discoverable secret passageway. But yeah, just as a way of retreat if you run out of supplies.
And they could restore order. It might be long and bloody, but eventually they would do it. Right, let's try and head right up to the tower. Just climbing up onto the roof here. It never gets boring exploring castles like this and being given the access to all the little rooftops. Look at this view, it's extraordinary. There you can see the round keep right beneath us. Is the highest point of Arundel Castle. Round keep there. And outside that you get the North Bailey. This castle's unusual for having two baileys. So you get the motte in the middle with the castle on top, the modern sort of, the keep on top, and these baileys which are like big fortified yards outside, and this one stretches right the way over there. So you can see multiple layers of defence. That made this castle such a effective defensive proposition. And what I like about being up here is when you just get this sense of transition from the coast, the sea, the flat lands by the multiple layers.
Look at that great walkway. I would love to walk along that. I'm sure that's off limits. Go through that door, keep walking.
Layers of defence. That made this castle such a sense of transition from the coast, the sea, the flat lands by the shore, up into the slightly more wild, higher ground of the South Downs. And you can see this was the challenge that this area presented to the Normans. As they advanced inland from the coast, that's Normandy that way. The ships could be in Normandy in a day, although it seems like a long way away now. Actually, the English Channel was the link. It was that was the difficult land to traverse up there. And the Normans went through this country building a network of castles every few miles, making sure that there was no important area of this new kingdom that they were trying to stamp their control over that didn't have a castle, a strong point. So Norman knights could ride out, they could see a lot, they had a huge advantage of sight, they could see the neighbouring villages, they could see if there was trouble, they could ride out within a day on their horses and then ride back, and there would always be a castle which they could retreat to in the evening. It's an awesome method of control.
Look at that. Okay, that was an awesome video. I love it. I love learning about castles. So clearly this is the way where they need to worry about invaders. And so my point about the trees earlier may not be as big of a deal. And I could point out how, there are these large like hills right here that you can't see over, but they must have had scouts and stuff anyway. And you can't. Okay, I'm sure if you built the castle on top of this hill over here, it would have a lot of disadvantages that this one it would be without a lot of advantages that this one has. And so fair enough. Beautiful castle. I think they're fascinating. So much about castles are fascinating, not just in England, all across Europe, in the world, really. I'd like to see the Great Wall of China, too. That'd be cool. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Awesome blossom. Extra awesome. see you guys next time. I'm definitely going to look at more castle videos and more videos. This guy, this host right here, he's on Timeline as well. Extremely good. This is History Hit. I'm not subscribed. Awesome. Okay, guys. Coming out with more videos. See you next time. Hope you're all doing well, by the way. I really do. All right? Stay awesome. If you're not doing well, that sucks. But you'll be good soon. Don't worry. See ya.